Welcome to Mind Changers Podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Blakney, and I got my man with me today, Mr. Reds himself. Come on, buddy.
What's going on? What's going on? That's right. I am Shann Atkinson, better known as Reds, and we are the proprietors of Mind Changers Podcast.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Listen, we have a super exciting episode, y'all. Y'all see me? I just put my earpiece in, right? I wasn't ready. Like Kevin Hart. But listen, we have a super exciting episode. Listen, tell your friends, tell your family, tune in because we're going to talk about Project 2025 after we go through this amazing intro.
Mind Changers International, changing lives for the better. Our vision is to be a transformative platform that exposes lies and reveals the truth. Mind Changers International, we on a mission, masking the falsehoods with every new edition. We're here to enlighten your mind with this vibration, expose the lies, speaking truth, normal conversations. Mind Changers International, we on a mission, masking the falsehoods.
Welcome to Mind Changers International. I'm your host, Lamar Blakney, and I got my buddy with me today, Mr. Shann Atkinson.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up? How you doing, Lamar? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Yeah, man, we got a really good exciting episode that's rocking with you today.
All right. Always a pleasure to rock with you.
Come on, y'all. Yeah. Shann, how did your day go, my friend?
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy, especially with all the tropical storm Debbie that came rolling through. Man, it got kind of hairy there for a while here in North Carolina. Yeah,
listen, we lost a life in Wilson, North Carolina. So listen,
yes, we did.
Condolences go out to the family member who lost his life in our tornado that touched down in Wilson, North Carolina today. Yes. So let's have a moment of silence for that young man. Awesome. Listen. So yes, we have an amazing episode going on today. Listen, I'm trying to turn down my how can I say it? My iPad because it wants to make a bunch of noise today.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
Right.
It's making a bunch of noise today, but hey, it goes like that sometimes here on Mind Changers Podcast. But anyway, Listen, I know y'all been keeping up with the news, and we have really been diving into Project 2025 here for a couple of weeks. And we really have some really good information for you guys today. And Shann and I, we work hard, we work diligent to bring you this information. So listen, subscribe to our channel. If you got friends and family, let them know that we're talking about Project 2025. Tell them, Shann.
Yeah, man, let them know, man. Project 2025 is aimed to completely rewrite the government that we currently are under right now, to become a dictatorship and to bring back white supremacy, plain and simple.
Yes. And Shann, you mentioned a couple of episodes when we talked about Nazi Germany. And so I did some research I could bring you guys some information on what Shann was talking about. Because when you first said it, I was like, wow, Nazi Germany. I remember Hitler. I remember, how they created the anti-Semitic movement to destroy the Jews. And so, this is what I came up with. After World War I, Germany was forced to sign an armistice and accept harsh terms because they fought poorly in the war. And so by them fearing a communist revolution, the main political parties of Germany got together and they formed an alliance. And that alliance was established to suppress the uprising because the people were acting crazy. They were mad because they lost the war. And then they established what's called the Weimar Republic. And so, and one of those governmental tasks was to implement a peace treaty. They wanted to put in place a peace treaty, which further weakened Germans' already struggling economy. So So the German nationalists and some of the veterans saw this as a big humiliation. I mean, they was humiliated. They was frustrated because they lost this war. And so falsely believing that the army could have won this war, but they said we would have won it if the protesters hadn't intervened. So they figured it was protesters intervened, traitors. And so Hitler, with his extreme anti-Semitic views, was able to capitalize on the sentiment. So what happened was they ended up throwing him in jail for treason, right?
Right.
So when they throw him in jail for treason, he spent a year in jail, right?
Right.
After he gets out, he joined a small, nationalist political party, and because he was very charismatic when he, would speak, and so he decided to get into the election. He decided to go for the election. I've been arrested for 1 year. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to see if I can bring the Nazi party together and win this election. Well, unfortunately, he lost the election. But guess what? He got 36% of the votes. And so they brought in the president he was a hero, Hindenburg. I think I'm saying his name right. He became president. And so the people started uproaring again. They started going crazy. But because of the 1929 depression, Germany was going through some trials. United States pulled back their loans. They were struggling. And then Hitler, he hated the fact that the Jews, they were doing okay. They wasn't prospering all that well, but he created this propaganda that it was because of them. Just like they talk about black folks is because of the black folks. They felt like it was because of them. And so what happened was the party of the president says, you know what? Since Hitler has gotten 36% of the votes, let's bring him in as chancellor. So they bring Hitler in as chancellor, and Hitler started, watching everything that was going on. And then the uprising kept coming, getting worse and worse and worse. So they said, you know what? What if we allow him to handle these people, because they was his people, and they gave him power for 1 day, and then he overthrew their democracy, and that was a modern day Project 2025. He overthrew their democracy, overthrew the government, and became a dictator, and created his anti-Semitic laws to imprison and destroy the Jews. So guess what? That is almost a mirror of what is about to happen to us if we allow Project 2025 to see the light of day.
Absolutely.
And so they created the parliamentary their parliamentary representation grew over that time with Hitler serving as president. Right.
And also too, one thing we can look at, we can go back like we talked about last week, how he got that idea from Napoleon. Napoleon did the same exact thing during the French uprising. The French government decided to give Napoleon, because he told him, if you give me complete power for 1 day, I can do away, because that French uprising was very violent. I mean, people were getting their heads cut off. I mean, it was the guillotine was steady working, and they were cutting people's head off left and right. So he got that power for 1 day, and when he got it, he never gave it back. And it took an absolute war to pull him out of power. Same thing with Hitler. He got that power for 1 day, like you spoke of. Never gave it back, and they both had something that this Project 2025 has right now. They had support. They had a backing. They had people that believed in what they were doing and was ready to give all they had to make sure that this individual pushed this narrative in the direction that they wanted to go. And there's one thing we have to really look into this. Napoleon during the French Revolution and Hitler during the Nazi Revolution. Those were failed governments at the time. They were failed, and they were looking for something different. Actually, our democracy has not failed. We are not in a failed democracy right now. Now, are people upset with how people are acting? Are people upset about the rights that people are getting? That is just the growth of democracy. I mean, I think Tim Walz, the new running mate of Vice President Harris said it perfectly. Rights are like a piece of the pie. We can all get them. It's not like if I give you a right, then there's no more rights to give. No. Yeah. Rights are like pie. We can all get a piece of it. So our democracy's not failed, and they are looking to completely wreck our democracy. And when I think we're doing wonderful right now in our democracy, because you're starting to see the beauty of our democracy. Mm-hmm. You're starting to see the beauty of what our forefathers saw, and allowing everyone to have a voice, mm-hmm. not just let one a base of people control everything. And that one base of people, for some reason, they felt like they should always be the elite people in power. They see themselves losing it, and they're losing it. They're losing it.
And another note, before Hitler came into power, they created what they called the Weimar Republic. And so when Hitler came in, he consolidated power, just like Project 2025 is going to do. And he suspended all civil liberties. He eliminated political oppositions, like the three branches of government. That was, and that, like I stated, was a modern day Project 2025. And then the Weimar Republic collapsed, and Hitler rose to power and served as and this serves as a warning to us that we cannot give anybody that type of power and put our democracy in danger, because we work too hard. Too much blood has been shed. Too many people have died. Too many people have given up their life just to give us this democracy, and we just can't hand it over to a narcissist. You know, and that's what I think Donald Trump is. He's a narcissist. He blames everything on everybody but himself. He has an excuse for every single thing.
Everything.
So, Shann, we have a video about Donald Trump going to the National Association of Journalists, right? Am I saying it right? A black journalist.
A black journalist. Now, before you go into that, I want to add one more thing about Nazi Germany and Project 2025. Okay. I also want everyone to understand, too, that Project 2025 is not new. It's 50 years in the making. And there's a lot of stuff that we have to understand, that when Nazi Germany was dissolved, we got a lot of those people over here in this country. We absolutely fleeced that government and brought in their scientists. We brought in their thinkers. We brought in their doctors. We brought in their military minds. They left Nazi Germany, came to America, and that idea of thinking infected our democracy. It's infected our democracy for the last 60, 70 years. So I want everybody to understand, Project 2025 is nothing new. It has been in the works for the last 50 years, and a lot of the inspiration of what Nazi Germany did has crept into what this is.
Yeah, and Shann, it started right after the Reagan administration. That's when it's hard to believe that it's been 50 years since the Reagan administration. So it started during the Reagan administration. Well, it's been less than 50 years, but around that time, that's when they started, putting this plan together. So it's not old.
Yeah, that's when they broke their teeth. That's when they really broke their teeth.
Yeah, it's not old at all. So, Shann, you finished with your thought?
Yes, sir. Go ahead with the video.
So listen, we're going to go to this video where Donald Trump is at the National Association for Black Journalists, and those girls ripped him a new one. They really did. So listen, I want y'all to check this out.
Yeah.
Time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner? First question.
Oh, my God.
You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC?
Hey, I'm going to stop there. You see how he going to, you see how this guy,
I know.
He go into victim mode.
He stays in victim mode. He stays in victim mode.
This is one of the worst questions that have ever been asked of me. He goes there. That dude is funny, man. Honestly.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely. He can't be.
Why should
you can't
black voters
him.
trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love
So I'm going to pause it right there, right?
I know, right?
He's a master at not answering questions. So the female journalist began addressing the elephant in the room, highlighting criticism against Donald Trump for his past comments. She also pointed out, Shann, that many believe that it was inappropriate for him to be there, right? Due to his promotion of false claims about rivals such as Nikki Haley, former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is so untrue. She also mentioned his remarks telling some 4 congresswomen of color who are American citizens to go back where they came from. So this is why people did not want him there and didn't think he should have been there, right? And so, additionally, she noted his use of derogatory terms like animal and rabbit. She described, as he described black attorneys, and his attack on journalists, labeling them losers. Whenever they don't say what he wanted to say or ask the question he wanted, he labeled them losers, stupid. Furthermore, she acknowledged his dinner with the white supremacists at his Mar-a-Lago residence. So now she's about to ask him another question. And you got a thought on that, Shann, before I go further?
No, go right ahead.
All right.
Very nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of
I'm
that.
asking you a question,
No, you
a very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you will.
All right, Shann. So she just defined it for this guy.
Yeah, I know.
He says, I need you to define it. Define it. Diversity. She said diversity, equity, and inclusion. And he's still asking her, well, can you define it? You know, he had them little short hands. You know, can you define it? Can you define it? And she did. This dude is crazy. And listen, and people want this man who can't even recognize that a question has been answered as a president.
Right. Yeah, definitely, because Trump really, he loves to be combative all the time. I mean, that's what he needs to be, in that combative nature. He doesn't know how to exchange thoughts in a mature way. He does not know how to exchange thoughts in a calm and it's unreal how this guy always attacks people, how this guy always puts people down, how he always talks bad to people. I mean, the things that he says about people, calling them stupid, calling journalists stupid, calling just today he said Kamala was not very intelligent. I mean, who says stuff like that? That's the stuff you say in a school playground when you're arguing with the guy that you can't stand. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all.
And for people who want to vote for him, you know, we all had listen. Everybody has their right to vote. You have a right to choose who you want to choose.
Absolutely.
But you got to look at character. You cannot bypass character, because character is a spirit, right? Whatever, like actors, Sean. If I'm playing a role, right, as an actor, I'm in a character. I'm playing this character, and this character has a certain way it responds, act, and be. And his character is who he be. And I know that's not proper English, but that's the best way I can sum up this guy. But let's go back and let's look at this right here, because he crazy.
Is that acceptable language to you?
Let me go back.
Here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of
I'm
that.
asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago, when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always identified as a Black woman. She went to a historically Black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is...
I think somebody should look into that, too, when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question,
my
sir.
God.
Do you believe that Vice President...
And here's the thing. This man will not submit to the authority of a woman.
No, absolutely
will not submit to the authority of a woman to save his life. And women... Go ahead. Go ahead, Sean.
And not to mention a Black woman. That's going to drive him crazy.
Educated Black.
Absolutely. And I need everybody to understand something. Trump did not come on the radar with all this politics until Barack Obama was president of the United States. Something about Barack Obama troubled his spirit like nothing other. I mean, this guy was quiet. He just went about doing his business. Everybody seemed to love him. I mean, everybody knew what he was. We've all known what Trump has been for his entire life. It's never been a secret about this guy. Yeah. It's not like he has skeletons in his closets that just fell out over the last, 4 to 8 years. We all knew what Trump was. And then, but all of a sudden, after Barack Obama's second term in the White House, something about that man in the White House troubled his spirit like nothing other, and he went on a offensive and attacked this man, attacked this character. Like we just said, he wasn't born here, this, that, and everything else. And everybody on the conservative side that could not stand the fact that they could not keep him out of the White House decided to make this joker right here, right there, that orange crazy knucklehead right there, to make him their mascot. Plain and simple. Not their leader, their mascot. Because they said there's no way this man could be president of the United States. We're smarter than that to know that this man would never be in the president of the United States. But it happened. He became the president of the United States, shocked the world, shocked him as well. He also didn't believe he would win the presidency. And now we are, and the way it is when you are in such a role, when you're in a leadership role, when you are leading the free world, all of who you are, all your character, you cannot hide it. It comes out, and that nasty, mean, hateful, racist bigotry that he has in his heart is the same stuff that those people in this country want to be. And they love him because he empowers them. He gives them that platform that they want. He gives them that springboard that they need. He's that mouthpiece to say all that hateful stuff that they say. And then by the fact that he is the president of the United States, as he was at one point, it empowers them to say, oh, I can go to my job. I can say all this stuff I've been wanting to say to that guy that I don't like. I can say all this stuff. I can be hateful. I can say derogatory things. I can call Joe Biden's son, a crackhead. I can call Kamala Harris the original hot tour girl. I mean, things that men of his power, I mean, the men in power that have to have a certain standard would never say that about their colleagues. Right. These men, there was a time in our country that you would never say things like that about your colleagues. You wouldn't agree with what they did all the time, and that's fine because democracy is not always about agreeing. But you would never attack somebody's character when it's nothing but lies and exaggerated facts. Yeah. Okay, I'm off. I'm done.
No, hey, listen, Sean, man, pull the belt out. Y'all see Sean pulled out a long belt on Donald Trump. But listen, this is what people don't understand. Donald Trump started out as a Democrat, and he said, I wish I had the video. He says, you know what? If I ever run for politics, I'll be a Republican because, they'll believe anything. He said that. They'll believe anything. And here's the thing. People have to understand. Donald Trump, you got to know what he's made out of. The stock that runs through his veins, stock that runs through his veins is pure racism. Listen, this man have had more businesses. Put it like this. If he was an author, all of his books would end in chapter 11. All of his businesses ended in chapter 11 because he knew how to manipulate it, because the stock that he's made out of, the things that run through Donald Trump's vein is the thing that has killed Americans, hurt Americans, assassinated Americans, that has taken our culture of people and treated them so inhumane in society that it was ridiculous. And I'm telling you, this orange abolitioner, this guy right here, his character is bad. And for anybody that feels like this man is a honorable man, then you need to question the stock you're made out of.
Absolutely.
You can't be that. Not. You can't be that naive. You can't be.
No, he's not.
Crazy.
There's nothing honorable about this man. He's just a businessman. Period. He's just a businessman.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, Sean. When he won, he came out on stage like, I can't believe these fools chose me. He had a look on his face like, y'all gotta be kidding. I really won? These people that stupid? Yes, they were. They were that stupid. And listen, if you voted for Donald Trump, that was your preference, right? But I'm talking about character. Let's get back to this video.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing. If you voted for Donald Trump the first time, shame on us all. Because could you have possibly not known what you were getting into? I will give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you voted for a second time, shame on you. Because you knew exactly what this man was. There was no question what he was after that. Okay, go ahead.
only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't
said?
know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that
Well,
interview.
you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're
can
taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a hard
time.
Okay. So
Okay.
So let's dissect this. Okay. So
yeah, man.
We're going to go back to something Donald Trump said. He claimed that he saved the HBCUs from financial ruin by providing,
right.
I think it's a long-term financial financing, stating that he signed an executive order in 2017 to enhance federal resources for these institutions. So here's the fact check. The Obama
he did somewhat. He did
after Obama. See, the Obama administration also took significant steps to support HBCUs, including they increased federal funding for HBCUs to support infrastructure and student aids, establishing the White House initiative on HBCUs in 2010 to ensure equitable funding, encouraging partnerships between HBCUs and federal agencies for research and job opportunities. And they also implemented student loan reforms to ease financial burdens on HBCU students, enhancing STEM education. Because I'm giving the facts. STEM education and HBCUs through grants and initiatives advocating for equity and funding and resources between HBCUs and predominantly white institutions as well.
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
so
exactly.
He ain't the hero for that. He rode the wave of what
That's right.
Obama had already put in place. He just added a couple of more elements to it. But it wasn't you, Mr. Trump, who saved the HBCUs.
Right. That's right. That's right. And then not to mention, if we go back to listen to how his tone deafness of Kamala's race, being biracial, which is of Indian, the country India, and her father is Jamaican. So when you have this whole tone deafness of that group of people about race is unbelievable, because I'm in that life right now. You know, as you know, and as all my viewers out there know, I'm married to a black woman. I have been for 30 years. Love her to death. Love you, baby.
You go black, you won't go back.
Okay. So, you know, and I've got 3 biracial children. I got 3 biracial children with this woman, and they embrace both sides. They embrace their white side, which is me. They embrace their mother's side, which is black. And I want them. I want them to do that. Anybody with a right mind, with any kind of compassion whatsoever, has no issue with somebody embracing both sides of their family. And when you use it as ammunition, as to say she doesn't know what she is, or she was this one day and she was that the next day, well, I'm sorry to break it to you people. It's her prerogative. She can do whatever she wants to in that fashion. That is what multiracial means. I can be this one day, I can be that the next day, and you just embraced who I am as a whole, period. So that tone deafness and using it as ammunition is just, it's unreal.
And Shann, I said this before, none of us are one of anything. Like, my father's Jewish, right? My father's Jewish descent, last name Felder. I'm named after my dad's last name. On my mom's side, my grandmama, they got Caucasian and Indian. So I can rep a lot of different, cultures.
Yeah, but absolutely.
When you are biracial, you're more diversified as an individual, because now your heritage is so broad. It's 360. So it's so broad. And Shann, I want to go back into some of the things that Donald Trump said in this past video. He also declared himself as the best president since Abraham Lincoln. This guy let this fall out of his lips that he was the best president since Abraham Lincoln, right? So it's a fact check. While many presidents have impacted African American historians, often Abraham Lincoln, known for the Emancipation Proclamation, which began the process of abolishing slavery. Then you got Lyndon B. Johnson, who was very instrumental in passing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which decimated segregation and protected voting rights. Donald Trump, you are not the best president of any president.
No.
Matter of fact, my high school president in school was better than you.
Yes.
Listen, I should be president, Shann. I should go and vote and be president. Y'all pick him. You might as well pick me. I know economics.
Exactly. Well, hey, you would do a much, much better job, sir. I can promise you that. You would do a much, much better job. And not to mention, we got to throw in Kennedy. I mean, Kennedy was pure assassinated if you talk to anybody of that era, and I've talked to quite a few people, if you talked about anybody in that era, they loved Kennedy because he genuinely wanted to help. He genuinely wanted to help the African American community, and he took a bullet for it. He took a bullet for wanting to do that.
Yeah, and so that video we showed y'all was so packed with information, and we want to dive into what we just presented to you all. And so, Shann, the journalist noted that some of Trump's supporters labeled Vice President Kamala Harris as a DEI, right?
Right.
And she asked if that language was acceptable, right? So Trump deflected, answering that question to define, kept asking the lady to define DEI, right? And she correctly explained it. She explained what a DEI is, but despite her explanation, Trump continued to ask her to define it, never answering her initial question. So this is what he do whenever he's in a debate. He don't answer questions. His tactic is to just ramble off at the mouth. That's what he do. That's what he ramble off. Well, Kamala, he'll find something else to divert from being a part of the debate. And so that's a distraction. Now, it's a technique, but it's a distraction because now the viewers are paying attention to him. He always want the attention on himself, right?
That's right.
Always want the attention on himself. And then the journalist asks if he believed the only reason that Kamala Harris is on the ticket is because she is black, right?
Right.
She asked him that. So once again, Trump claimed to her indirectly stating that She was black, she was Asian, this and that, all the heritage and all of that. None of that matter. Brother, I can't call him brother. Dumb dog, you don't answer questions. Yeah. You don't answer questions. Mm-hmm. And so that video, Shann, is so loaded with information that can really break this man down like a fraction and break him down, like simplify him, because he's simple. It's easy to simplify him. And I can't remember the other journalist's name, but she addressed the division in the country and asked Trump, what is his message for the day? Trump's response was also focusing on immigration, right? He stated that that immigration was causing problems, that many immigrants are taking black jobs. What's a black job?
I know.
Yeah. I know what a black job is.
Go ahead.
Hey, massa, I picked some good tomatoes today.
That's right.
I got all of the corn, massa. Black jobs. And then he says, well, a black job is any job. It's a black job. Why is it a black job?
Why is it not a white job? Why didn't he say, hey, white people, you're losing your job to all the, migrants? I mean, no, he doesn't say that.
Migrants have taken jobs from everybody, not just black people. And so then the journalists follow up with another question, asking him to clarify what black jobs were. And he says, black job is any job that anybody has, right?
Yeah. Exactly. That's just, he's deflecting. He's deflecting. He got cornered. He got cornered, and he's just trying to deflect and say something ridiculous so that he can just push it off of him. Push it off of him.
And let me tell you what he do, Shann. He's a magician at scapegoating, right?
Yeah.
Scapegoating of immigrants as if they the cause of our employment challenges and issues and things like that in America. No, man, listen, systemic racism is the issue, right?
Exactly. Systemic racism is the issue. This country does not belong to us. Everybody else, it belongs to them. It belongs to the Native American. It belongs to the Hispanic. It belongs to the African American that built this off their blood, sweat, and tears. That built this entire nation off their blood, sweat, and tears. We have been proprietors of exploitation our entire existence. That is what we are good at. And I'm sorry, people, that my cousins are so good at it, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then when you say, this is ours, it's ours, and then you don't even look at the fact of have the compassion to be like, well, it never was yours. You stole it. You murdered. You raped. You begged. You borrowed. You stole to get this nation. And now you push these people out. You push them into areas that have no economic stimulation whatsoever. The years have caught up. We and our drug appetite has caused the violence down there in South America like nothing you have ever seen.
That's right.
And now these people are just trying to survive something that we put them in. We put them there, and they're just trying to survive, and they're trying to come back and get a piece of the American pie. And, oh, my God. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. And Shann, in that video, right, he brought up another false fact. He says, Kamala Harris is the worst border czar that has ever lived. So here's
Why
a
did you have
fact,
to say
y'all.
border czar? Why'd you have to say czar? Why'd you have to talk? I mean, come on now.
So here's the fact check. We're going to fact check this, right? That statement is misleading. And
it's very
vice
misleading.
president is not in charge of the borders, never have, in charge, and never been in charge of border policies, right? The responsibility falls on...
Biden actually gave her the rope on that and said, run with it. As far as she did.
She wasn't like in charge of it. The responsibility fell on, I think his name
She was the referee. She was the referee, plain and simple. She was the referee.
Yeah. I think the guy name is Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and Xavier Becerra, the Secretary of Health and Human Services. They are the border czars. They are the people. They are the ones who put all of these processes together so that they can protect our borders. She was assisting them. She was not the border czar. She was assisting them because our president told her, I want you to be involved in this. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
and what they're also not saying is that the bipartisan bill was written, was ready to be voted on. Both sides of the aisle were happy with the language in that bill to start tightening up this border, and then all of a sudden, all the Republicans pulled out of it. They pulled out of the deal and then just made it look like the Republicans did something wrong. I'm sorry, they made it look like the Democrats did something wrong. Why did you pull out of it? If you liked it well enough to say you were going to go ahead and push it through, you pulled out of it to make them look bad during election. It was nothing more than an election tactic to make them look bad, like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. So, like I said, he's going to stay on this immigrant thing, right? Because, like I said, that's
he's gonna ride that dead horse. He's gonna ride that dead horse.
Immigrants as the cause of employment challenges facing, saying that it's facing Black America. He oversimplified that, and it's just done to distract us from the systemic issues of racism, education, inequality, and economic marginalization. And that is why he keeps talking about these immigrants, just like Hitler kept talking about the Jews and saying that they're the problem. He want to make the immigrants the problem. Right. And then y'all want to take this man and give him power that no man in the United States history has ever had with Project 2025. And guess what? Here's the crazy thing. Some of y'all listening to me right now won't pick up the book and read through it. Matter of fact, you won't even go on YouTube and listen. You don't even have to read. Then we're bringing information to you. Listen, share this with family and friends. We're trying. No, we're not. We're not trying. We are educating you all on what we've learned. We don't know everything, but we're educating you all on what we have learned concerning the Heritage Foundation plot to undermine our democracy and to put this redhead guy in there. Why would a young white guy want to kill him? He read Project 2025 and it scared him. Right. It scared him.
I can see that.
It scared him. He was like, man, I can't let this guy do this. Is that right? No, it's not right.
No, it's not right.
Ever.
No, it's not.
Listen, people, America, we're telling y'all, pick up that book. It is a huge book. It took them 50 years to create this plot. It's equivalent to a track runner starting out in 4th grade as a track runner. And that track runner trained all the way up to high school to get into Olympics to run a 9-second race.
That's right.
They did this for 50 years so they can run a 3-month race to the presidency so they can take your children, my children, all our children, make them go into the military, cause them to take the ASVAB test, destroy our democracy, put all of the executive branch, legislative, judicial branch, put all of these powers of regulation. See, he doesn't like regulation. He wants to deregulate everything. He wants to control the media. He wants to control Social Security. He wants to control the FTC, the FCC, the FDA, the CDC. He wants to control police officers. He wants to control everything. This man is nothing more than a walking demon to me because he's evil in every facet of the word evil.
Okay.
Anybody who wants that kind of power has a plan that don't involve his family.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of his plan, and the way I view, this is the way I view Trump. Trump only wants to get rich. That's all he wants to do. I can see him winning if he were to win this presidency.
He's already rich.
No. I can see him if he won. God forbid if he won. I can see him laying back, playing golf all day, allowing the Heritage Foundation to run this country, and that he thinks he can make a couple of $1 billion off of the Heritage Foundation running this country. There's something very, very important I need you guys to understand. Hitler did what he did. He went after the Jews because they were the richest. They were the richest group of people without their own sovereign country. They were easy prey to go after. Mm-hmm. They had tons of wealth. And all their money was in the Swiss bank accounts. He actually went after them to exploit their wealth so that he could build his war machine. Plain and simple. Now I want you to see the parallel here right now. Him saying that he wants to deport 1 million migrants a month. These migrants are pretty wealthy too. I mean, I don't know if you've seen them coming and going, but they pull their money together really, really well. Mm-hmm. They pull their money. So when he starts getting these people out of this country that he wants to do, and where do you think their wealth is going to go? You think he's going to say, oh, yeah, just take your wealth with you? I promise you, he will not. He will also exploit and rob these people when he throws them out of this country, just like Hitler did when he exploited and murdered the Jews during the Holocaust.
And you know what, Shann? There are actually individuals watching this mad with us right now.
Oh, God, no. They're super mad.
All we bringing is facts.
That's just facts, man.
Defact us. Bring your facts. Listen. Mm-hmm. Put your comments in. We're not afraid of your comments. Put them in there. Mm. Guess what?
Yeah.
And we will address those comments. Come on. Listen, we will address those comments. It is time for us to stand up. They said, if you don't want black people reading nothing, put it in a book. Well, they put it in a big book. 922 pages of eye straining, brain fogging, documentation. And they got there to call them a think tank. They got to be a think tank to work on something for 50 years.
Yeah, that's right.
For 50
years. Also, too, I want everybody to know there's a lot of black people that are reading this book right now. Yeah. So that misconception of putting it in a book and black people won't read it, no, that's false. There's a lot of really intelligent black people out there dissecting this book right now.
Well, I hope so. I really, really hope so. Our show is not to offend nobody. Listen, I'm just passionate. I'm not arrogant. I'm just passionate because I want to live. I want to be an old man. I want to see my kids, right?
That's right.
I don't want them under a system of rulership that we have no opinion. We have nothing. They take Social Security up so high, you might live a year to get it.
Yeah.
They're going to rate. Y'all got to listen. Please subscribe to this channel. Shann, we got another video, man. I'm seeing how much time we got. We got a little bit of time.
Hey, man. We ain't got nowhere to be.
Huh? No, we ain't got nowhere to be. We ain't got nowhere to be.
This is our podcast. We can make it as long as we want to make it. Come on, people. Let's do this.
Yes. And listen, guess what? You know what I love about it, Shann? It is our podcast. And it is our voice. And listen, if you don't like what we say, create a podcast. Hey, I'll look at it.
I'll watch it.
Let's go to this next video.
Tonight on The Readout.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Do you believe if Donald Trump were elected next year that he would try to stay in office beyond a second term? That he would never leave office?
There's no question.
You think he would try to stay in power forever?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The stakes could not be higher. Trump says if he wins, you won't have to vote anymore. Tonight, we are laying out the dangers of Project 2025, the manifesto that would give him that authoritarian power, limit your rights, and force you and your family to change the way you live your life.
Now, listen, y'all.
Yeah.
We're diving into some critical issues surrounding our upcoming election, right?
Yes.
And the potential implications of Project 2025. The urgency to vote cannot be overstated, especially for those who value democracy and individual rights. So first, let's address the notion that if certain individuals are elected, right? Certain individuals are elected, or a certain individual is elected. Citizens may, he said something. So he said, well, Christians, I love Christians. I want you to go out and vote Christians. And if you vote now, in 4 more years, you won't have to vote because it'll be fixed. This guy ain't hiding nothing, Sean.
No, he's not. He's
not hiding nothing. And see,
nothing.
Y'all gotta understand, citizens will not have to vote anymore because, like you said, it will be fixed.
It's a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship.
This statement is deeply concerning.
It is.
It undermines the very foundation of our democracy system. The right to vote is a cornerstone of our freedom. And any suggestion that it is that we shouldn't have to vote again, is alarming. It is alarming. It is alarming.
His entire running platform has been how he was cheated out of an election. And that is completely a lie. The courts told him, stop telling that lie. They got sued for God knows how much money over that lie that the election was stolen from him. And now he's telling his constituents, I'm going to steal the election.
Yeah.
What kind of crazy stuff is that?
And not only that, Sean, he was like, I don't need any more votes. You don't have to vote anymore. We've already won. I've got enough votes. He has 7 certifiers in 7 swing states that I believe is going to act up when it comes time for us to count these votes. And in this video, Sean, the lady asked her, if Donald Trump wins, do you think he will want to stay in power? The idea that a leader may attempt to stay in power beyond their term, listen, America, that raises significant questions about the health of our democracy.
Absolutely.
History has shown this, right? The dangers of an authoritarianism and the potential for a leader to cling to power indefinitely is a threat we must take serious. We must take this serious. The stakes are higher than ever before. If we allow such actions to go unchecked, we risk losing the fundamental rights that God gave us on this earth and in the United States.
That's right.
This is why we're doing this.
Something to you. I want to read something to you, going off of what you said about the local election officials. Just 2 days ago, Georgia gave local officials significant new powers over the certification of election results. All right, a move that could delay or derail future post-election certifying processes. In a 3-2 vote, the Republican-controlled State Election Board of Georgia voted to define the certification of election results as attesting after reasonable inquiry that the tabulation and canvassing of the elections are complete and accurate, and that the election results are a true and accurate accounting of all votes casting. Now, the rule does not define what a reasonable inquiry is, which means that different counties will most likely interpret the rule completely different. It's expected to allow county election boards to request information and potentially delay or block certifications of results when they see fit, and the resulting delay could block the timely reporting of election results in the state. Now, this has just been passed in Georgia, and just like you said, there's six other states that are working to pass it before the election, so they can delay the vote, and then he can get in there and do God knows what.
Listen, America, listen. Project 2025 has been described as a manifesto for consolidating power. This agenda, listen to me, poses real danger, not false danger, real danger, as it could limit our rights and force families to adapt to a new, a new way of living. It is crucial for our listeners. Listen, we're telling y'all something. It is crucial for y'all to understand what it means for this personal freedom that we have now and for the fabric of our society.
That's right.
So as we navigate this conversation, we urge everyone to engage in a discussion about the importance of voting and protecting our democracy values. Each vote is powerful tool for us to change the narrative of what is trying to be painted. We must use our safeguards for our future. We must do it. We got to come together. We got to educate ourselves. And that's what we're trying to do in this podcast. Educate ourselves and about how we can overcome this pressing issue so that our voices get heard. This man is trying to be an autocrat. He doesn't want to leave the White House when he get in there. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else we can say to you. I don't know what else we can put on paper. You know, it's written down. The Heritage Foundation and Donald Trump has a master plan that's going to destroy everybody. And they don't realize how it's going to affect them. Okay, how much money you got? If you ain't got no store to go buy no food, what you going to do? You're going to be just like us in the field trying to get something to eat. And I'm telling y'all, I'm telling you this. I'm not just up here talking. I'm talking for my grandchildren. I'm talking for my grandchildren's children. I'm talking about kids I ain't going to never see that's connected to my bloodline. If you want to dismiss this, if you want to be so dismissive that you just like Donald Trump and you think they're going to take our guns, listen, a lot of people don't want to vote for Democrats because they're afraid that they're going to take our guns. First of all, that's an amendment right. Do you know what you have to go through to overthrow an amendment? Find one amendment that has been overthrown outside of abortion.
Never happened. Never happened.
It's not going to happen.
Look, Lamar, your right to vote wasn't an amendment. And I promise you, if it was so easy to overturn, they would have done that they would have got rid of that right a long time ago.
That's right. That's right. So listen, Project 2025, it represents a significant shift in American democracy and the landscape of America. And understand this. If you allow this man to get in power, right? When it goes south, don't say nothing.
Oh, God, yes. And it's going to go south.
Don't say nothing.
I promise you.
When you can't even say, I don't like Donald Trump, they're going to come lock you up. The Department of Education. I mean, we got more video. I don't want to get ahead of our videos, but this thing is real. James Brown had a song, I'm real, I'm the real super bad. This real, it is real and super bad. Y'all bet to wake up. Be woke. Stop walking around here half dead and sleep. This is real. This is real. Shann, the more I get into, let me calm down. Let me bring my spirit. The more I get into Project 2025, the harder it is for me to sleep at night. I have not been sleeping well since we've been doing the podcast on Project 2025.
I can see that.
Now I'm going to talk to our spiritual leaders. Yes. Teaching the Bible is the greatest thing that we can do.
Yes.
Right? But there's a thin line between faith and foolishness. We should be teaching this on Bible study. We should be teaching this to our congregation. We got 3 months and a lot can happen in those 3 months. I'm challenging all spiritual leaders to at least have the conversation with your congregation. Let them know whoever they're going to vote for. Listen, if you read the whole book, and I'm going to be straight up, Shann. If you read Project 2025, all 922 pages, and you agree with it, I'm not going to be mad with you if you vote for it. I'm not going to have a problem in the world if you vote for it. But I am going to have a problem if you didn't read it and you voted.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you about to slide down a razor blade and land in Alcohol River messing with that. Man, it's and here's the thing, Shann. The people who wrote, they proud of it. Man, they walking around with their chest out. Yeah. Like, man, this is the greatest plan. Because this is what they want to do, y'all. They want to get rid of all of the immigrants, however you want to call them. They want to get rid of them. But they are the stock that makes up America.
Okay.
They are the stock. It's like if you look in the forest, right? Mm-hmm. Everything in the forest has a purpose.
Okay.
The tiger has to eat a certain animal. That certain animal has to eat another animal. But they're all important for the ecosystem, right? Mm-hmm. They all work together. You think it's cruel and like, dog, the lion killed the gazelle and then this insect killed this insect. All of these different elements are in the United States, and they work to make the United States what it is.
Okay.
They're so important to our economy. They're so important to our lifestyle because if you take them away, you'll find out how important they were. And here's the thing, Sean. Let me say this right quick.
Yep.
You don't value what you have until it's taken away from you. And I'm gonna give you an example, a little story. One day it was beautiful outside, right? And my mom was like, "Why don't you go outside and do something with yourself?" Because I was a busybody, right? I ain't want to go outside and do nothing. I want to stay in the house and create havoc. I go upstairs and break something, and then she says, "You know what? You punish." And all of a sudden, outside became this beautiful oasis. Everybody outside having more fun than they've ever had in their life.
That's right.
The sun looked better than it ever looked. It is until that thing that we have as a privilege is stripped away from us for us to realize how important it is.
That's right.
And when your freedom, go talk to a man in prison for 20 years and he'll tell you, I will do anything just to walk down the street 3 blocks and walk back.
That's right.
You're not going to know your freedom until it's taken away from you.
That's right. That's right. And listen to what Lamar's saying, because it's not a secret. It's not a secret. The ideology of this country has always been to put down the black man and black woman. That has always been the ultimate goal of these white men in power. They've always wanted that. They truly, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is what they want. I'm going to tell you what they want. They want to do away with the Hispanic population. They want them out of the country because it's complicated. They're trying to simplify it. They want them gone. And then they want the African community to get back in the place that they wanted them in 300 years ago. This is nothing more than trying to put the African American community back in a place that they think they need to be, that place they want them to be. And that place is subservient, below, back underneath, because it's driving them crazy that the black community is prospering and educating and leading and doing wonderful things. It's driving them bonkers right now. And they're trying to simply uncomplicate it for them because they can't focus on one thing at one time. They are trying to uncomplicate it for them, get rid of the Hispanic population, and they want to put the African American community back in the place that you guys were 300 years ago.
Absolutely.
That is all it is. And it is the sickest, the meanest, most hateful ideology. I can't quite wrap my head around why that's the case. I don't truly understand why they want it so bad. I guess if I could know, then I would be one of them. So I guess I'm glad I'm not insane like they are. So that I can't understand it. But that, and I know a lot of people will say, no, it's not like that. We're not thinking that way. I promise you, people, listen to me. This is what they want. They want to see this country back as it was 300, well, maybe not 300 years ago. They want to see what it was like during Jim Crow era. They know they can't go all the way back to slavery, where they had you in the field, but they would love to at least get back to the Jim Crow era. And if this project 2025 gets a hold and they get their teeth into this thing, I'm telling you, people, my white friends out there, we have got to stand up. We have got to tell people what this really is. We got to stop sugarcoating it. When you're out there on your golf trip and those guys are out there talking and they're talking stupid, you need to speak up, people. You need to tell them we ain't doing this. This ain't what this is. Our black brothers and sisters are with us. I'm with you. I am not for Project 2025. I want to see this thing abolished. I want it to go away. I want it to burn in straight up hell. I don't want to send nobody to hell, but I want that to burn in hell, because that's exactly where it's come from. That has come from the fiery pits of hell.
And Shann, we have our our people say, you know what? God is in control of everything. Listen, hear what I'm saying. When I go to the book of Genesis, Shann, in the book of Genesis, he says, I've given man dominion over, and he lists a whole lot of things he's given man dominion over. People say the devil made me do it. Well, I ain't seen him in prison yet. People saying, all these different things. Let me tell you something. Nothing happens on earth without a person contributing to it. Now, does God does things supernatural? Do the Holy Spirit do supernatural moves? Absolutely. But to say, you know what? God is in control. Yes, he is, through us, because he's in us. That's right. He's in control if we take control. And
take control.
Because he's in us, we have to be the God that makes it happen. I'm telling you.
We have to.
You just can't pray this out. You can't pray it out. The Bible says faith without works
to be the catalyst.
Is dead, and you're going to have to put work in on this. People, we got to get people at the polls. We got to get people to vote. And if it's somebody who want to vote for Donald Trump, sit down and have a conversation with them and just lay it out. And if they say, I want what he offered, it's nothing we can say.
That's right.
It's nothing we can say.
There's nothing we can say.
If that's what he wants, fine. I'm not against somebody wanting something that they want. But listen, you better be realistic about it. Be realistic about it. From Shann, we got one more video, man. I think we can make it through this. And we can conclude our episode for tonight. But, man, listen, this is some great conversation. Listen, share this with friends and family. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to bring great content. Listen, if you know a congressman or somebody who wants to come on this podcast and give us some stuff we don't know, please send it to us. So let's check the video out, Shann. This is very deep.
American democratic experiment in modern times. And it's called Project 2025. With just 99 days till Election Day, and with voting starting a lot sooner than that in some states like Pennsylvania, where early voting begins in September, it is imperative that every American understand what Project 2025 is about and how it would affect every single one of us if it was ever enacted. Tonight is just the first of many nights where we will dig into this dangerous plan. And I really want you to listen, learn, take notes, and share it with everyone you know. And if you look on your screen, you'll notice that QR code where you can find our segments on Project 2025 so you can share them. So let's start with the basics. This is the 922-page MAGA manifesto. We printed the whole thing out, and it's brought to you by one of the most conservative D.C. think tanks. I'm
going to stop it right there, Shann. Brother, do you see how big that manuscript is? That's about, it looked like she got about 10 books, right?
Yep.
People, the concentration of power, the core of Project 2025, the core of it, the core of it suggests an expansion of power for Republican presidents to effectively centralize authority in a single office. This undermines the democratic principles and checks and balances that are vital for a healthy democracy. Come on.
Yep.
Let me take this back a little bit, because y'all got to see this. If this don't make you want to go read or go to YouTube and listen to it, listen, I have it on ebooks. I'll listen to it. If you don't want to read, you can listen. Faith come by hearing the word of God. Well, guess what? Knowledge come by hearing the word of something. They can teach you something. Like Brandon Murphy, first of all, you need to grab a book. You better read. They're about to do something to us.
Yes.
So let's start with the basics. This is the 922-page MAGA manifesto. We printed the whole thing out, and it's brought to you by one of the most conservative D.C. think tanks, the Heritage Foundation. This is the culmination of nearly 50 years of work that began during the Reagan administration. Broadly, according to Heritage President Kevin Roberts, this is a Christian nationalist plan to end what he calls the Great Awakening and, quote, rescue our kids, reclaim our culture, revive our economy, and defeat the anti-American left at home and abroad. This manifesto, which they call a book, is a specific roadmap on how to accomplish that by giving a Republican president unprecedented power. They do that by...
Now, listen. Everything she said, Shann, such concentration of power, brother, it risks, listen to me, people, creating an environment where dissent is stifled and the voice of oppositions are marginalized and leads into potential authoritarian governance model.
Yeah.
Listen,
that's right.
This is basically Christian nationalism gone wrong. The project is described as a Christian nationalism plan. That's what she said. A Christian nationalism plan, which poses a direct, y'all catching my speech impairment, a direct threat to circular foundation of the United States by promoting specific religious ideology as the basis for governance. It alienates us as Christians, as people.
That's right.
It's wrong.
That's right.
It's going to affect American society. Listen,
that's right.
I'm telling y'all, this can lead to discriminatory policies and further polarizing culture and religious groups. I'm telling you, if we don't wake up and if we don't get a hold of this, Shann, everything we're saying is in vain.
Yeah.
Is in vain. Martin Luther King, what he did is in vain. Malcolm X, what he did was in vain. All of these leaders that even what Lincoln did, signed the Emancipation Proclamation, all this stuff is for nothing. All it's going to cause, all this plan is going to do is divide people and cause cultural and social division. That's what it's going to do.
And also too, something really, really important. This is just going to be the start of it. The language in this Project 2025 is just enough to really to keep from alarming people. When they finally get their foot in the door, they're going to push it even farther. Once the language in this is just to get their teeth in it and completely rip it apart. What comes next is all the wish lists that they want to implement again. All the wish lists. And those wish lists are those things that you're talking about that's going to divide this country, that's going to just trample on human rights. And it's scary, it's dangerous, and it should not happen because it's so important right now that they're having congressional hearings on it. They're bringing these writers in and putting them before congressional hearings to allow them to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And they're proud of it. They're super proud of it.
Yeah, and Shann, this manifesto, listen to me, y'all, it will impose restrictions on our personal freedoms, education, health care, and it will limit our abilities to raise our children according to our values. Our values. That means there's going to be long-term consequences if we enact Project 2025. It will.
And not to mention, I read something in there, and they've got silly things in there, like real silly stuff. Like I can't understand why it was written in there. They want to ban a drink called a lemon drop. It's some sort of alcoholic beverage called a lemon drop. You young people might know what it is because I'm not much of a drinker myself. And they want to ban hookah bars. What's a hookah bar? Somebody tell me what a hookah bar is.
It's a place where people go smoke. I don't know what's in it, but I guess it's something to make you feel a A little higher than what you normally should feel.
Oh, okay. Well, those two things have graced themselves in this Project 2025 document, and it to me it's kind of strange that you would even want to write something that in there, but it's full of strange stuff as well as scary stuff. So
yeah, you're right. So listen, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this information we brought before you today. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we want to bring awareness. This is Mind Changers Podcast. Any subject, we want to change your mindset on that. And we want you guys to go out and educate your family on this. We just want you to, be aware of what's going on. Be aware of what's going on and what's happening in society and why we have to make a mark on everything that's happening. We cannot let this go down like this. So my conclusion is this. It is very vital for every American to understand that the potential ramification of Project 25, we need to engage in informed discussion. We need to educate our children. We need to protect our democracy. We need to make sure that our voices are heard, that they cannot do what they're trying to do. And we're not going to sit down and just lay down on this and die. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to fight like we've always fought. We're going to fight like we've always defended our country. So listen, people, wake up. I hope this information was good. Tell a friend, share this podcast with somebody, because I'm telling you, it's going to happen. We're going to have an election, and that election is being challenged right now because we got this red abolitioner who wants to do all these crazy things to us, and he wants to make sure that he stay in power. Sean, you got any final thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, I'm just going to say it with really simple. Everybody, our democracy is not broken. It is bigger than one person. It is all of us. And Project 2025 will get rid of all of us and give it to one person.
Right, listen, it's the next time we told you guys.
We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all, we bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all, we bring in